Okay, so in this video, I'm be sharing the three areas I believe service-based founders should follow to book an extra 5+ calls a month. And I also want to be sharing the three problems I believe that they're facing that's preventing them from doing so, because it's so important that you have these areas nailed so that you're able to do exactly this. So, first of all, booking an extra 5 calls a month on LinkedIn. The first thing I think people struggle with, that founders struggle with, is having a standard offer. And I'm going to apologize in advance for my handwriting. But it's a standard offer because the thing is that if your offer is just like everyone else's, or perhaps it's even a bit unclear or confusing, then there's no wonder that you're struggling to get clients from LinkedIn because if it's not clear in terms of your positioning, so in terms of the way people see your offer, so such as your profile, and even the way you speak about it, and even in your content perhaps, then this is obviously going to cause problems down the line because if your ideal clients don't know what you do, then they're not even going to realize that you can help them to begin with, which is also going to make your effectiveness from the content you put out and even the outreach you look to do so much more difficult because when people look at your profile from there, they're just not going to understand what you even do. So a standard offer is usually the first problem I tend to see happen as well. The second thing I then see is this problem with salesy selling where actually when founders are having conversations, right, when they're doing outreach and chatting with these ideal client on LinkedIn, like you should be for trying to say get leads, they come across as salesy, they come across as pushy, and they're just making themselves and even the people they're talking to quite uncomfortable in their approach to do it. And this is fair enough, right? Because obviously everyone on LinkedIn is there to get business, right? They're there to make money to some degree, and so, we all know we're supposed to have these conversations, but it's also wondering, well, how do you even do these, right? How do you, is there a way that you can say, like, chat and book calls with the ideal clients in a way that isn't going to be pushy? So that's usually the second problem I see fans face. The third one is probably have to be ineffective content. And like I said before, my handwriting is awful. But it's ineffective content because if the content you're putting out, regularly is just not bringing you leads, it's not bringing more attention to your profile and to what you're doing, then clearly, obviously, there's no point with it. And if you're spending hours on content, but you're not getting results from it, you're not getting, people that are interested in you, you're not getting profile viewers or such, then this is obviously not working out for you. And if you're not able to fix this and you're not able to get your content working for you, then you're pretty much just going to be chasing prospects the whole time. So now we got the problems. Well, what's the solution, right? Where do we want to be instead? Well, instead of a standard offer, really we could benefit from a standalone offer. So, as in an offer that can basically sell for itself, an offer which, when people look at it, it's clear. It shows that clear transformation ideal clients want to have, and it's just genuinely attractive, and people are more drawn to it because it just seems like a bit more of a no-brainer. And this is obviously really important because if we flip it from the standard offer, this standalone offer is going to make it so much easier to sell, to get inbound leads from when people view our profile, from when people see our content, or even when we outreach them. So it's really important that we can get this part focused first, because when you can get this focused first and you get it solidified, then you can just then focus on your content and outreach. So instead of salesy selling, well, instead of that, if you were able to start smooth selling, right, where actually you can start conversations easily, you can then chat and book calls with them more easily, you can understand their goals, pre-qualify them quicker in the conversations. It's going to obviously save you time, but it's also going to save you energy as well. And you're going to be able to get so much more done with your outreach. You're going to feel comfortable doing outreach, right? And sure, outreach isn't going to always be super comfortable, but if you can just find a way which, where you're able to smooth sell a lot easier and it's just a lot easier on yourself, then I believe that's going to be massive when it comes to helping you book more calls. Because I believe, me personally, outreach is probably the most effective way to book calls in terms of like a daily action type of thing. And then lastly, one sort of ineffective content, if we were able to make converting content where actually the content we make helps, say, raise the hand of interested leads to where they want to basically, chat to us, reach out to us, they want something that we have, or even just the content resonates with them and they then say go to like view our profile, and then maybe they reach out, or because they viewed our profile, now we can say go and outreach them in an easier way. It makes it so much easier for us. So we almost want to have content that is working for us, right? If the content isn't working for us, then it's working against us. Simple as that. So that's really the first thing I would then look at as well in terms of where we are. So now that we've obviously identified the three problems, the three desires, well, what do we need to do to get these desires, right? And I think that there's pretty much three parts to each of these different areas. So for the first area, I think the most important thing to do is to pick a niche and transformation. Because if we can pick a niche and transformation in terms of oh, goodness me. In terms of who we're targeting, so make it super clear in terms of who we're targeting, what result they get, and how they get it. I think that is obviously because we're looking for clarity here, right? We're not looking to be clever, looking for clarity here. Then that's going to help in terms of making that standalone offer. And also, if we can really have a clear transformation in terms of what our ideal clients want, where they can go from where they are to where they want to be, then this is also going to help us make a really attractive offer that our ideal clients want. The second thing then is then I believe what's really important is to then select an offer and a price. Right. So here, I think the next step for you to then take is to really get clear on your offering. Right. What exactly does it look like? And what can people expect from it, and even the pricing as well, because it's also very like easy to start undervaluing and undercharging yourself based on what you're doing. And it's funny how the charging thing works because a lot of the time, if you charge it higher, people see it as more valuable, which also means they're going to get more results from it. So you also want to make sure, in terms of pricing, you want to make sure you're charging based on what it's actually worth rather than say what your self-esteem thinks it's worth as well. And when you can do that, that's also going to help you build an offer that looks, premium, that looks attractive and such. And then the second thing, or the last thing we want to then do is then you want to then build your standalone offer document. Because the thing is that actually when we're thinking about an offer that's standalone, sure, be able to pick a niche transformation, that's great. Having an offer and a price, that's great. But how do we present it, right? And sure, you could maybe present your offer by sending like a massive back and forth conversation. However, if you could have an offer that standalone and basically does the selling for you, where everything they need to know about it, which obviously you'd make sure is beneficial and is relevant to them, is just all in as one document, which you can just send to someone and maybe they can read through it in a couple minutes just to basically easily identify if that would be relevant to them. But it also helps pre-qualify them. Then that would also help with making a standalone offer. Because I think if you've got these three things nailed down, that's really going to help in terms of your offering. So then we have smooth selling. So what are the few things that you can then do for smooth selling? Well, I think the first thing is warm outreach, because I think if you can start conversations warm in the sense that, even if they're just 1% warmer, that's going to massively improve your response rate. It's going to make the conversation feel a lot more smooth and natural. And it's just going to make it a lot more comfortable and easier for you to then convert them. Because the thing is that a lot of people are going to get pitched on LinkedIn, simple as. However, warm outreach in terms of maybe people that view your profile and such. If you can start more conversation with them where it's easy for them to respond, you get better open rates, and then you can start to get into the next stage, which I'm going to talk about. Then it helps you then chat and book those calls more easily. So having a system for that would really benefit you doing that. The second thing, which leading from there, is then sell by chat, because if we can then go from a way like a place where we can start conversation, that's great. But when they respond, what do we then do next? Well, we want to have a bit of a process or system we can follow to start chatting and booking those calls more easily, right? To be able to identify if they even have a problem we can solve. Because if they don't, we can start the next conversation. But if they do, identify more about those goals, why they're still there, and then be able to use that as a way to then qualify people and then book calls. Because having that sell by chat system and even outreach, like I said, is so, so important, because if you can just directly have conversation with these ideal clients, it's going to be so much more easy for you to then close them compared to just sitting there and waiting for them to come and have a conversation with you. Which then leads into my last point of triage prospects. Because the thing is that when we've taken people from the chat and been able to book in a time with them, we want to be able to pre-qualify them very easily. And so if we can triage prospects where we have a short 10 to 15-minute call to really help us quickly identify, if or how we could even help this person, that way we're not having to waste hours on, like long ass sales calls to like see if we can get like good results for them or actually see if they're a good fit, only to find out that they're not. So having like 10 to 15-minute call, which helps us pre-qualify, can really help us then allow us to set ourselves up for a next call, which is more like a strategy session, helping us actually, have more conversations with qualified people, therefore increasing our conversion rate as a whole. And so, lastly, obviously, once we've made that standalone offer and we've done all of that, we've got smooth selling, then it's just converting content. So, where do we start from this? So, I think the main thing we want to start with this is having awareness content. Because awareness content, by the way, is being able to raise the awareness of your audience, right? Because I believe your audience is in three categories: problem unaware, problem aware, and solution aware. So if we can target all three of those categories of your audience and help them, become problem aware or become solution aware, or realize that the solution aware people, can come to you, then that's obviously going to make a huge difference. And the thing is that if we can, for example, make someone who's problem unaware, so unaware they even have a problem, and make them aware of it, and if you're the person that did it, then who are they going to approach or be more likely to approach to solve that problem? Well, probably you. So if we can create awareness content that helps us shift those awareness and target all the different types of people, right? Not with like, we're not just going to target people that are ready to buy, then this is going to really help us in being able to help the content do stuff for us and even get those inbound leads as well to start more conversations. The second thing we're then to do is have lead magnet content. Now, lead magnet content, or really, I would say hand raising content, is really, really quite good in terms of being able, sorry, handwriting's awful, in being able to raise the hands of interested leads in terms of what we have to offer. Now, this isn't just, say, our core offer, it doesn't have to be, right? And the thing is here that you can create content that, say, like whether it's PDFs, documents, or even videos that, your ideal client would benefit from seeing or consuming. And then you can make posts about it asking if people want that. And if they do, they can then comment, you can then send it to them. And what happens is that this type of content is going to help you get more awareness because the content is going to boost your post, but also it helps you start conversation because you're having to send the resource to them. Obviously, making it so much easier to then do the smooth selling over here in the sell by chat. So it obviously aids the rest of that process. And then lastly, the very last thing I think can be really useful is because it takes so long a lot for a lot of people to make content, what we want is a batch creation system. And really the system, which, for me, when I use batch creation, should ideally be taking maybe about 2 hours in one week. 2 hours a week in one sitting, you can batch create all your content, maybe three. But the thing is that, like, I mean, I've had chats with founders that have spent an hour per piece of content, and it's just too long. Because especially if you're, posting consistently as you should be, being able to have a batch creation system that allows you to make lots of content all pretty much in one sort of short space of time, and then be able to schedule it for the whole rest of the week just makes it so much easier because then you can stop worrying about content and you can just focus on your smooth selling, and that's simple as that. Because really, with this whole system, if I'm honest here, right? Once you've got the offer and you've got this solidified, and you've obviously made your content, and that's actually sort of then scheduled out, all you're having to then do in terms of the routine is just smooth selling. It's just sell by chat and warm outreach. So I believe this system is going to be perfect for founders that want to then be booking an extra 5+ calls a month with LinkedIn. Now, if you want to learn more about how you can do this, I actually have a free school community called Lead with LinkedIn, which you can see in the link below. You can join for free, and has actually more modules and more of a community that is all working towards this very goal as well. However, if you're wanting some more one-to-one help and you're curious to know how I could help you do just this, then make sure to visit my website in the link below to see a bit more about how I could help you. And obviously, you're more than happy to book in a quick call just to see if or how I could help you do just this. But hopefully, you got some value from this, and make sure to join the community if you haven't already.